Welcome. Let's begin this evening with a meditation. And this meditation is from the Mystery School. We're going to feature the Mystery School album by Zazen this evening. So the first song that we're going to meditate to is Harvest Time. I would like for you to focus on your heart for the first minute or so of the music, and then just let go and see where the music takes you inside. When I meditate to this music, it goes up and down inside of me, and I hope that happens to you too. So we'll give that a try, but we're going to Harvest Time. This is good. Good. Take a breath. We live in interesting times. It's the end of an era. And the old era is dying a slow and painful death. The forces that have held humankind in bondage for over 30,000 years are losing their grip. They're not giving it up easy, but they're just being pushed out. Their time is over. So we're going through a time of transition. And I know that that can really be disturbing and alarming even. But there's a few things that we need to kind of keep in mind. We have children. That's good. Something we have to keep in mind is that this is nothing but samsara. This is just the samsara. It's a dream that each of us are happening. We're each having this dream and sharing it with other people. I'm going to review a little bit here. For just a second, I'm going to talk about the center of the universe. And from my point of view, there is no center to the universe, because infinity goes on forever. And if infinity goes on forever, then there are no edges. And if there are no edges, then there's no center. But here we are. Each one of us is created in the image and likeness of our Creator. We have this desire to create and to admire our creations and to watch them change. We're caught in the middle of this dream, a dream that the Tibetan Buddhists call samsara. Each one of us is a center of the universe in this dream. There are over 7 billion universes on this little planet right now. Every single person here has their own reality. And realities are really interesting because they change all the time. You can get yourself locked into a place where you don't have a lot of outside forces and you fall into a sleepy state, and maybe there's no change that goes on for a while. But if you'll notice that even during those times or years when there's no change, there's something happening. Mainly, you're getting older. Your days here are numbered. All of our days are numbered. And that's good. So we have 7 billion universes on this earth. And an interesting thing happens about these realities. Realities are changed not by thought, but they're changed by experience mostly. That experience can be a heart attack. You're living your life, suddenly you have a heart attack, everything changes. Going through a divorce, getting married, having children, having a pet, losing a pet, getting a new car. All of these things changes your reality. You're not the same after you get them as you were before. Sometimes you're better, sometimes you're in a more depressed state. But we're going through life always, always creating karma. And our life is a reflection of our karma. Our birth and the parents that we had and the circumstances that surrounded our birth are all karma, brought about by past lives, the progression of your soul up until the moment of birth, and then you have that experience. Some people choose to find it's their karma, maybe, to live only an hour, and then they're gone. Other people may be over 100 years, and they're gone. But everything is karma. And karma is created not by what you think or do, but the intention behind what you think or do. This is why in Buddhism we try to get everyone to be impeccable, to have an impeccable mind, to have impeccable language, to have impeccable interactions. We watch the words we say because our words can cause harm. Even words that we don't think too much about. Think about it. You're in a reality, you're driving down the road, a car cuts you off. You throw on the brakes to avoid an accident, and you scream, "Son of a bitch!" Think about that word. Just think about the word itself. It's pretty harmful. You're not only insulting the person who did it, but you're insulting his mother. And what good does it do you except it puts you in an angry state of mind? And that angry state of mind can lead to road rage. It can escalate. It's a choice you make. What you choose to put your mind to, you tend to become. As I've said for a long, long time, almost first time people sit with me, I say, what you touch touches you. So when you're touching these states of mind that are angry, fearful, depressed, violent, highly judgmental, you're creating karma for your life. And the interesting thing about that is that your karmas create a field about you, a field of attention about you that attract other people to that particular karma. And when you have a whole group of people deciding that they want to explore their spiritual life, that they want to expand their experience and their reality of the divine, and they're kind of doing the same practices, then they tend to come together. And we call that a sangha. In a sangha, you're independent. I don't know about you guys, but I just love to meditate to noise like that. Anyway, I digress. But we attract people around us that are spiritual, and we're independent. So if you fall down, you don't take others with you. This is what Trungpa Rinpoche said. We're independent, and yet we do our best to assist each other. Buddha says to do no harm. He also says that all suffering arises out of ignorance. And so we don't want to do any harm. And we realize that those nasty little things that we do that create bad karma arise out of ignorance. And the ignorance that it arises out of is being fooled and trapped in the samsara and just getting caught up in the flow of things around you, which many times are not that good. Many times we have people in the workplace, or we meet them on the street, or in the shopping center, and these people are just angry. They don't like you. Maybe they don't like the way you dress. Maybe they don't like the color of your skin. It can be all kinds of reasons. They just don't like you. The world's like that. But we have to be in the world. And if we allow our consciousness to dip down to their level, we've touched it. And it's touching us. And we're creating karma at that level. So, we try to create good karma. The operating system that's going out that I referred to earlier, that operating system is based on fear, control, domination, and manipulation. That's the old operating system that's being phased out. Probably take quite a few birth pains to get it to all go away. But if you look at your life and you look at society today and what we were raised, everything is based upon fear, control, domination, and manipulation. Whether it's in politics, or religion, or in our job, or in how we raise our kids, how we deal with our mate. We always have this thing that we have to dominate. We have to demand that they behave certain ways. And if they don't, then we leave them, or we threaten to leave them. Fear and control and manipulation. And when you're operating in that operating system, you're entering into the samsara deeply. You're getting lost in the dream of limitation. So you realize you have choices to make. This is the first step of awakening, is that you have choices to make. The person cuts you off in front of them, and maybe he even throws a finger at you while he's doing it. You can get mad and curse, or you can have compassion and say, I'm really sorry he's having a bad day. Either one creates karma. One creates a karma that makes your day really nice. The other karma is full of anger, violence, contention. So we make a choice as to how we react. It's a conscious choice. We make the choice to meditate in the morning. We make the choice to meditate in the evening. We make the choice to eat the kinds of food that our body tells us we need. And we make the choice to have people around us that we have surrounding us. It's our choice. We make choices about everything. And our choices help create our realities. And your reality is always changing because events change in your life. Today is different than any other day in your life. Tomorrow will be fresh and different also. The world is going through a lot of change right now. There's a lot of anger, a lot of outrage, a lot of fear. All you have to do is look at the news, and it doesn't matter which channel you pick. They're all lost in the samsara. Everything is based upon fear. Everything is based upon control and domination and manipulation. Adversary. Republicans against Democrats. You know, the races. You have all the different races. Religions, you know, Muslims and Christians, and everybody's fighting, always fighting. What is this? And we get into that, and if we enter into that consciousness, then that's where we are. We have a day there. I many times tell people, and I really sincerely believe this, that's why I keep saying it, is that I believe the best is coming our way right now, that we're in the middle of it, that we're going into a golden age where people will love each other and there won't be wars. Nobody will be hungry. We have that capability. We could actually do that right now if we just changed the way we look at things. There's more than enough food to feed everybody. There's nothing on this earth at this point that can't be changed. So I believe that the best is yet to come, and I live my life with that idea. That's why I'm happy. I'm like a little child looking at the birthday presents and looking at the cake, just waiting for it to open. That's what I'm expecting about the world. I might be wrong. And let me tell you, if I'm wrong, and we all die, on the other side, I'll come up to you and I'll say, well, I guess I got that golden age thing wrong. Sorry about that. But let's just look at this a little bit. If you think that the best is coming about and that everything that's happening right now is just a birthing, it's messy, it's painful, it's all this stuff that's going on, but it's birthing. If you look at it like that, then this is not a bad time to be alive. And you live your life accordingly. But if you think everything's going to die, all of your friends are going to die, everybody's going to die, you're not going to have any grandkids, it's oh boo-hoo, then that's how you live your life. That puts you into that reality. And in that reality, there's not any enlightenment. I was walking my dog, actually, and there was this birthday going on in the neighborhood, which they had rented one of these inflatable castle things that was filled full of all of these balls, and the kids were just leaping into these balls and going under the surface and just having the best time looking into that container of all of these little plastic balls. Each one of us is like one of those little balls. We're down in the center, we can't see anything, but we're pressed from every side by other people's ideas, other people's reality. And our karmas and our state of mind bring people into our life that reflect what we are doing. And it also brings some people in our life that aren't exactly like that. There's two sides to every magnet, I guess. Until you get into interdimensional travel, then it's not so, but we won't go there tonight. So imagine yourself in this world where you have your reality. It's yours. It's the only reality that you have. And you construct your reality from your experiences, the things that happen to you, and sometimes the things that you initiate with your own intention and will. "7 billion balls on this little earth. Everyone with a different religion or family or whatever. Everyone is unique. Even identical twins are not exactly identical. Everyone has their own reality. You have yours. And if you're ignorant of the awakening process, then you are locked into the samsara. You're locked into this dream of birth, maturation, decay, and death, rest, and rebirth. You can move higher than that, though. You can create a reality about yourself of enlightenment. You can have a reality in which you don't see all of the stuff that other people see, nor do you experience it. It's your experience. Okay, this is the moment. Stay right here with me. I keep waiting for you to see, really see, that you are God in the flesh. To realize your own infinite nature. The ability to shift your attention into new realities, in new perceptions. But my goodness, this is a wonderful world. I have issue with almost every spiritual teacher I know. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But in my reality, I have come to love this world so much, and the people in it, that I would love to reincarnate here again. Why wouldn't I? You see, though, I'm touching the highest. I'm touching the brightest. If I were in a country where there was starvation and war and violence all the time, I might not want to reincarnate in that world. But in my world, this time, you bet. I could go to those worlds of violence and I could get myself lost there. And I certainly wouldn't want to reincarnate if I were in a place where people were starving on the streets. People were hungry all of the time. And human life was without value. But I have raised my consciousness to a place where the people around me are very precious. There's not a person I meet on the street that I don't love, that I don't have compassion for. Sometimes they irritate me. I must say that I do have a little bit of that going, so I'm not perfect yet. But I would say, generally, the only people that I have an issue with are people who come and stand before me and are consumed with hatred. I find that very difficult. I try not to be around such people. But if I am facing people who are full of hatred or rage, I have to watch very carefully what my choices are when I react to that. I have to see if I'm coming from ego. The ego tells me that I have to set them straight, that they got it wrong and I have to correct them. But in reality, I don't. Their karmas will correct them. How do I react? That's the most important thing. As a spiritual aspirant, it's really, really, really important that we watch the choices we make throughout the days. And when we're surrounded by someone who's violent or angry or terrified, fearful, depressed. We have to watch our choices. These people are your spiritual teacher at that moment. They are your guru. They're testing you to see what you've learned. If you can walk away feeling compassion, then I would give you an A. If you walk away depressed or angry, that's not a passing grade. Nobody makes a perfect score all day long. We just do the best we can. But I have raised my consciousness to the place where I have eliminated the violence from my life. I've eliminated fear from my life. I've eliminated anger. I would say all of these things, not 100%, but pretty much 99, 98%. I mean, I do have my moments. I've still got a body. But I've eliminated most of these things from my life, and my life is amazing. I don't even lock my car. Of course, there's nothing in it that anyone would want, but if they did, it's all a choice. And during those times of testing, when someone is coming at you with road rage, or they're accusing you of something you didn't do, and it makes you look so horrible, what choices are you making when you react? Can you come from love? Well, it's very difficult to come from love when somebody's enraged at you. It's hard to come to feel any kind of peace when you're around people who are grieving or dying, unless you know better. You still put on the personality, caretaker personality, that will deal directly with them in a way that they can handle it and not become upset. But you're always touching the higher part of their nature, not that lower part that they are presenting to you. I have to do this with everyone I meet, especially my students. It's a learning process. Just remember, do no harm. Take nothing that is not freely given. Eliminate ignorance from your life as much as you can, always learning new things. When something confounds you, you put your attention on it to figure it out. That's called contemplation. And when you're overcome and you lose everything, then you pray. You pray for yourself, you pray for others. You're not praying to some God out there. You're praying to that part of you that is God. That divine nature that is inside of you. Not out there, but inside of you. That divine nature that is creating all of these realities that you're experiencing in this life. And you pray to it. And you ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry I lost it. I'm sorry I made that mistake. I'm sorry I took something that wasn't supposed to take. Whatever it is. And you forgive yourself. And then realizing that everyone who transgresses you, everyone that comes against you, is coming to you out of ignorance of their own enlightenment. So when they're doing that, pull it up a level. You don't need to get down there with them. It's just your ego that wants to be fed. And that ego is always seeking, the hungry ghost is seeking those things that will bring it pleasure for a spell, but nothing will last. Maharishi said that you can go very, very high with emotion. With emotion is very powerful. You can pray with great emotion. It just takes you up. But it doesn't keep you there. You just come down. But when you meditate and you work your life, you start moving up that ladder in your mind, where you're in this world and you're attracting to you people and circumstances that reflect your heart. And as you eliminate violence and anger and, oh gosh, you go down the whole list, you know, bigotry, fear, all of these things. If you eliminate these things from your life, you'll find yourself living an amazing life, an uncommonly fine life. You'll always be smiling, except when it's inappropriate not to. You don't want to smile at somebody who just lost their child, you know. There's an appropriateness that's necessary, but that appropriateness comes out of doing no harm. So if you do no harm, you're going to act appropriately and compassionately. And when you find yourself getting taken out and you're hurting, crying, feeling like there's no hope, then I suggest you touch something else. Turn your life, turn to yourself, face another direction. Go in the bathroom, wash your face. And stand up straight. It's like this thing comes up here and it says, you're no good. You're a failure. Nothing's working out. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. Nobody. Poor me. You're sitting there in your pity pot. Just, and as you're doing that, your higher self says, wait a minute. What? I said, are you doing the best you can? Yes. Are you working for the good of others? Yes. Are you trying to alleviate suffering? Yes. What are you crying about? You're not doing anything in your life for other people to acknowledge you. If you do, it's a hungry ghost. They'll acknowledge you and then they'll turn on you. It's just the ego inside of all of us that expects certain experiences outside of us. I thought positive thoughts, I should have it. Well, unless your intention and your will was in the right spot, it's not going to happen. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, though I do all kinds of miracles and perform great acts, if there is no love in my heart, then I'm like a clanging bell. It doesn't do any good. If you don't have compassion, if you don't give a damn, what kind of being are you? If you treat other sentient beings rudely, without respect, what kind of being are you? These things don't come easy. We're not taught this stuff. we're not taught to be this way as we're growing up. We're taught to defend ourselves, which is, I guess, a good idea. We certainly don't want to be bullied. But there's a higher way. Good. This particular song is one of my favorites because it brings back a memory of being a priest and walking into this huge temple that had stone benches all around. And we'd walk in, make our way around the building, and when the two lines meet, we'd all turn and face the center, and we'd sit down and start to meditate. And you could feel the energy. And then, after a while, you would feel the high priest coming as he walked across the courtyard and up the steps, and walking into the room and spinning and everything disappearing into light until poof, he was gone. And we sat there for a little bit more longer and then made our way outside and looked at the world. So let's go on this little journey together. Most of us have been in things like this in past lives. So let's just enjoy this, and it's called Mystery School by Zazen. Could turn up just a little bit. That's good. Good. Take a breath. So now have a few minutes where we can have a little discussion. Do you have any questions about anything? Okay, let's lower down the consciousness a little bit. Get down into your ego. Think about your name. Think about your name. Okay, you got your name? Find it? Okay. Now, are there any questions?
You'd really reincarnate.
Oh, yeah. What else we got to do? We have eternity, you know? If you don't incarnate here, you're going to go somewhere. You can't ever stop.
Yeah. Well, it's not so bad here.
Well, it's not so bad in other worlds. This is kind of a really weird world. This is a world, my teacher said it accurately. He said, this is a world where you have all of the heaven worlds, all of those dimensions, and you have the hell dimensions also, and they're crossing right here in this world. And wherever you place your attention is which one of those are you going to go to. So there's a difference between spending the summer on a beach in Maui or spending a summer on a beach in Darfur or Syria. Not that Syria has a beach, I guess they got a lake or something, but you get the drift. You're in this world because of your consciousness and your karmas. And the fact that you are in a place where you can now awaken to the fact that you do actually have choices. Before you didn't know you had a choice, you just reacted. You thought that's the way life was. And I'm telling you, life is the way that you see it. It's your reality, but the little thoughts that you think throughout the day, those little angry thoughts or those selfish thoughts or those thoughts of not being good enough or not being ready, or all of those thoughts create a reality for you. And you attract people to you that go with that reality, as I said. So that's why the Sangha is such an important thing, because you have people working together for the higher. They're falling down quite a bit. Everybody does. But in a Sangha, you're all working toward enlightenment. You're all working toward the alleviation of suffering. Dispelling ignorance whenever we can. We dispel it within ourselves first. You know. I've said for a while that there will never be world peace outside of you until there's world peace inside of you. I did that for a while today. I actually lived on earth, inside of me, seeing the earth peace. You say, well, gosh, what about? I said, well, I'm not choosing to really pay a whole lot of attention to that because it's going out.
That's why I don't have a TV right now.
Yeah, don't need no TV. It's just anything that drops your consciousness, and you create that. But sometimes it's kind of, I watch TV myself. I test myself. I test to see if it takes me down. And if it does, I get to look at that. It's my time in the dojo. It's where I'm putting my belief and what I am as a spiritual being to the test. You can do that at your job. You can see, how did I do today? Did I walk away defeated or angry or depressed or upset? Or did I walk away whistling? Did I play some happy songs on the way home? When traffic snarled up and we're in a parking lot, did I get upset, or did I just take the time to be with myself for a change? Take the moment the universe gave you. It's all a choice you make. We make choices all the time. constantly making choices. And every choice that we make creates karma from the intention and the feeling behind that choice. Do we just accept it as being that way, or do we not? The world is always changing. It's a chaotic thing here, especially, I think where a lot of people get kind of messed up is they're in the samsara and they want to change the samsara.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can't change the samsara, that's what it is. But you can change yourself to where the samsara doesn't take you out. You know, you can go to the ocean and those waves that come in and you can fight those waves all you want, or you can surf on them. It's a choice. One's kind of fun, the other one's not so much, kind of frustrating. Trying to hold the ocean back.
It wears you down.
Yeah, it wears you down, and you can't do it. It's samsara. You're going to change the samsara within yourself, then you do better. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to die or that I'm not going to suffer at times. Yeah, I'm sure. I've got a body, you know. So, yeah.
It's good to have a sangha. I was so tired I wasn't going to come.
Yeah.
And I saw how I wanted to help with something, and then I'll come here too, and you just realize that something happens when you're around all these.
Yeah, yeah. What you touch touches you. And everyone here is independent. If one of you fall down, you don't take anybody with you. But we're all here to help each other. Because it's fun. Any other questions?
So, is reincarnation a progressive process, or is it just like up and down? One lifetime you are super high and spiritual, the next lifetime you are a homeless person?
So the question is, are all our incarnations up, or are they up and down? And eternity does not have an up or down because it doesn't have any edges. But if you have, let's say, a very high incarnation, maybe you're a monk and you're doing all kinds of good things and you're, you know, feeling peace and joy and happy and all of that stuff. And then you reincarnate and you come in, and instead of doing what you know to do better, part of you says, well, let's just see what happens if I don't do what I did those last lifetimes. What if I do something different? And then you get karmas for that. You suffer. So those would be the down ones. But from my point of view, they're not down at all. You had no idea that that was what was going to happen, so now you get to experience it. It's just part of the experience of your samsaric life. But my job as a teacher is to encourage you not to rebel against what is truth. And that truth is what the Buddha discovered, is that, you know, right language, right action, that sort of thing. But most of our incarnations are always going up because we're always increasing our knowledge in one way or the other. Now maybe we go through 1,000 incarnations of hurting people, torturing them, killing them, enslaving them, using them. But at some point you awaken from that and you start seeing that that is nothing but chasing something that creates nothing but pain and heartache in your life. It can take many lifetimes to get away from power. It can take many lifetimes to get away from the idea that you enjoy dominating and manipulating and controlling those around you. But the karma for that is intense. And that's why when you have a meditation and there's enlightenment around, usually there's not a whole lot of people. Because they're just not interested. They're caught up in the samsara. They want their revenge. They want to change the samsara around them. The samsara is created by ignorance of all of the people who are caught up in bigotry and in fear and in adversity and duality. And there's no peace there. There's no joy there. I can go there and experience that, but I don't find it a happy place. And it does injury to me and to others. It's just tough to do that. But there's hope. Each one of you are eternal. Each one of you are incredibly precious. Each one of you are God in the flesh. And if we see each other and realize that, we will be consumed with the divine love. Compassion will come easy. Making the right choices much easier. It's a journey. Every lifetime is a journey into eternity and beyond. So, okay, well, I want to thank you for coming. We are going to be having our solstice this year in Las Vegas. If you're interested, you can go online and find more about it. We're not going to gamble, but there are really wonderful places of power around Las Vegas that are amazing. I lived there for 30 years or more. So I'll take you to some nice spots. It's going to be a nice weekend, a nice week, excuse me. And this particular solstice, I'll let for those of you to know that this particular solstice is extremely powerful. In the winter solstice, it's the day of least light. It's the longest night, the shortest day. And 2 days before it is a new moon in which there is no reflection from the sun. So you've got a week there where everything is going introvert. It's going down, it's going inside. It's a wonderful time to meditate. This is an amazing time to go to a place of power. It's time to really look into your spiritual being better than any other time because you're not being distracted so much. Everybody is pulling in, and that's what we like. We like it when everything is pulling in. Other people get depressed about that. That's when we like it. So this particular solstice can be very powerful. And if you can't make it, I really strongly suggest that you meditate extremely hard starting 2 days before and on the solstice itself. Really meditate, look at yourself deeply, and set a course for the coming year, that you're going to make the right choices. That you're not just going to react, but you're going to think before you say anything. You're not going to react out of anger because somebody's angry with you. You're just going to be quiet. Or walk away. It's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be a good retreat. And I want to thank all of you who have endured us going through this video thing. We're still trying to update equipment, which we will continue to do. But I want you all to know that I love you. I really love you. Namaste.